Hi, guys. We are here with Grammy nominated platinum selling artist Sophie B. Hawkins, and you've been doing this for over 30 years. I know you're going to be performing November 5th at the City Winery in Philadelphia, and you have a new single coming out. So, talk to us about your new album. What can we expect?
Well, the new album is so beautiful, I would have to say. It's musical, it's light, it's vibrant, it's also very rich in like using these experiences that we all have gone throughout this long life of ours, and then using them to transcend, not really to harp on what wasn't working, but to really use all this material that we all have of heartbreak and loss and transcending into a point of like really true self-love and appreciation and freedom. I have, the album is called Free Myself, and the new song is Love Yourself. It really has this vibe, and it's not pretentious. It's all real. These songs are so easy to perform because I wrote them from the place that I always write from. But this new album really works with the old material. So like even touring for Tongues and Tales, and I'll do the Tongues and Tales stuff, and then I'll do the hits from Whaler, and then some of the hits from like Lose Your Way from Dawson's Creek. And then when I start doing the new stuff, it really picks up. And people say, I love the new stuff. After when they're buying merchandise, they all want to buy the new stuff. They say, we love it even more than some of your old stuff, which is a very big compliment, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, and I love that. I love that you're true to yourself. You're true to the life that you live, and people can really see that. And it really comes through the music, which is great. That's why you've been doing this for over 30 years. So that's awesome.
That's right. That is absolutely true. There's no reason to veer at this point off that path.
Yeah. And like, what do you feel? Do people come up to you on the street and go, hey, oh my gosh, you're Sophie B. Hawkins? Like, how does that feel when people recognize you?
You're so sweet. Nobody ever recognizes you.
No.
No, and my daughter loves to say, Mom, when you were famous, she goes, when you were famous and you walked the red carpet, were you rich then? Like, it's so funny. There's no sense of me being like a star or anything in my life. There's no aura of that. And by the way, it's really nice if people know my music. It dawns on them. Like my neighbor will go, I'll be asking, I'm not going to be here. Can you possibly drive my son to tennis? And then she'll write back, I'm the last one to know. You're Sophie B. Hawkins. And she goes, oh, I love your music, but that's it. That's as much as it is. Now that I'm touring again, and I'm really putting so much out, and I have this musical and a book and records and songs, I really feel that when I'm at home, I have to be at home really privately with my kids. I'm getting that sense. Like right now, I'm about to go out for 3 weeks and leave my children. That's extreme to me. We haven't been this. We've been in COVID. We haven't been leaving.
I know. It's crazy. And speaking of kids, I mean, you got pregnant at 50 years old. What was that experience like for you?
Well, I really loved it. First of all, it was an easy pregnancy. And I don't mean to say this because I know getting pregnant is an issue for so many females. And, but I will also say we all have different issues. I got pregnant at 50 and I didn't have a partner. I did it, solo. And really, I wanted to give my son a sibling. I thought that was really super important. So I did. I was lucky that my body is really healthy, and that's just genetics. I don't do anything for it. So she was in me, and then she came out of me, and it was pretty easy. I don't think that I say that age is not what people think it is all the time. I mean, it's true about genetics. They have this big thing, but just because you're older doesn't mean you're less healthy all the time. You can be more healthy when you're older.
Yeah, that's true.
It's possible. I mean, I'm more healthy now than I was when I was in my 30s because I had so many problems in my 30s and so many issues. I mean, not that I would say that. I mean, everybody does. You don't know it, but you do. And then for me, I've gotten older and I've let go of a lot of my stuff.
So for people that are, older, because they say when you're over a certain age, sometimes 40, you're like a geriatric pregnancy. So it's just like, you don't want to do it.
I'll tell you a little secret though. When I was having Esther and I was 50 in the Cornell Weill Hospital, which is the same hospital I was born in Manhattan. I asked the doctor how many women, or asked the nurses, how many women 50 and over have babies? Because I thought they were going to say, wow, it's really weird that you're here and everything. And they said, so many a day, you have no idea. And this
Wow.
and they said, but people don't want to say their age. But they said every single day, so many women over 50 have babies.
Wow. That's so cool.
I said to my friend, someday, like in my lifetime, people will not think 50 was old to have a baby.
Well, 50 is the new 40.
So, I mean, I honestly think 50 could be the new 35.
Oh, I like that even better. That's awesome. And speaking of that too, I mean, you've been no stranger to your sexuality and you've embraced it for your whole career, which is kind of a big deal because, 30 years ago, it wasn't as accepted as it is today.
Right.
So can you just briefly talk about what it's like to say that you're omnisexual and then explain that to people?
Yes, I'd love to explain it because now they teach it in health in high school, which is shocking. Went to my son's ninth grade night, and the health teacher was teaching what intersex is, and it's the same thing as omnisexual. I will explain it. So back in 1992, I said to John Perellis in the New York Times, because he said, Sophie, are you gay? And I wanted to give an honest answer because I thought I was going to be living with this answer for the rest of my life. I said, I'm omnisexual. And he said, what does that mean? And I said, my sexuality isn't based on my gender. And most importantly, it's not based on your gender. So John, if we were together, you wouldn't make me straight. Just the same as if I were with a woman, she wouldn't make me gay. My sexuality is my spirit, my creativity. It's my right to be what it's based on is my mind. I mean, obviously sex is in the mind mostly. We know that because if your mind's not into it, forget about it.
Right. That's true.
So, and a lot of sex is based on fantasy and past things and future dreams and all these things. So it's really not based on someone else's body per se. So the whole idea that our sexuality would be defined by someone else's parts is so ridiculous and demeaning. And I was saying that in 1992 because I had this major relationship with a man and I had a lovely relationship with a woman. And I couldn't say, and I thought bisexual doesn't even cover it. Because they are people that aren't with me now, but I'm still a sexual person. I was trying to, we're sexual without other people around. We're sexual in our minds, in our fantasies. We read a book or we watch a movie or, geez, we're sexual all the time.
Right. So do you?
Yes, does that make sense? So it's not based on.
Yes, that's fine. It makes sense to me. I mean, I think it's great. And I think it's great that you're able to explain it and orate it. And hopefully someone else that's feeling that same way can say, okay, great. I'm not the only one. Even all these years later, it's really nice to know.
Yes, I think it's totally natural to be attracted to many different aspects of another human being's mind, body, and soul. And that you don't have to say, oh, that's a woman. I'm not allowed to like her boobs. Oh, yes, you are.
Right. Exactly.
It's great too, as a matter of fact. It's really healthy.
Yeah. No, that's great. I'm glad that you're able to talk about that. So do you feel that nowadays, the LGBTQ is represented better, or do you think there's still a lot missing?
Well, I mean, I'm not so much into movements, but I think it's better that there's, when back in the 90s, the gay movement, which was really picking up steam, which is great, didn't like me saying the word omnisexual because they were just like, can't you just make up your mind? And I'm like, I am making up my mind. In fact, I'm creating something that really works for me and I know will work for me in the long run. Then my son's friends came over last year and they said that they were omnisexual. And only later did I say to my son in private, do you happen to know that I coined that word? And he said, nah, get out of here. Yes. So yeah, I think it's working. I think it is working. I mean, for all the things that aren't working in this world, those things are doing well. The movement is fantastic. People are breaking free. Yes, we are.
I love that. And speaking of all the things going on in the world, I mean, the world has changed in the last 30 years, especially in the music industry now. What advice would you give someone now that wants to break into the industry versus maybe back then that is a little bit different? You're like, you know what, this is where you need to do what you need to do and where you need to go.
Yes, I would actually ask them because I have no clue. I, yeah, everyone around me would probably say, "Don't ask Sophie about the industry."
Okay.
I do have a couple of people. You know what I would do? There's a couple of people I would say, "Could you ask this person? Could you go to that person?" But I think, maybe that actually defines the industry a little bit. I'm not sure anybody exactly knows, but I do
Mhm.
know one thing, that the happiest people in the world are the people who work really hard on being true to themselves.
Yes.
And that, I would say, that no matter what, it is true that fame is fleeting. It is true that you can make money and lose it just as fast. But the thing you will always have is yourself. So
Mhm.
work on that and be happy with what you're doing.
I agree with you 100%. And I think that's why you're so successful, because you're true to yourself and people see that. And the people that don't like it, then they don't want, but you're so successful
Yeah.
for being you. So that works out for you.
Nice. Wait, that's really nice. I'm so successful for being me. That's a good one.
You are. Good. I'm glad I got to shed some light on that. So, what would you say is the most challenging part of your career, or maybe as the music industry as a whole?
For me, the most challenging part is following up on the business side. It's really fun for me. I'm sitting here, writing my song and doing
So
all
cool.
that part is never been where it's difficult for me. What's hard is the is that it's so multifaceted now. There's so many ways to get your music out there. There's so many people who say that they can help you account for this and account for that, and it's micro sense. And so you could go crazy thinking that you're missing something. So that's challenging. It's challenging that they don't really pay writers that you used to be able to. I mean, this is technical, but this is true. There was a period where songwriters really were truly compensated. And now
Hmm.
you get 0.00006 of a cent. And that is very hard to survive. And I don't focus on it, to tell you the truth. I just figure I got to focus on the music and making my songs. But that is probably the most challenging part. It's,
Yeah.
who do you trust? Where do you go? How do you really get this out? How do you know you're doing the right thing? Everyone has an opinion and it changes constantly
Mm.
because of the social media platforms.
It's so true. Either you, right, if you're not on the social media the proper way, it could really be a detriment to you. And then also nowadays, because of social media, more people are going independently and they're not necessarily going through a manager or getting signed to a big company because they could do it on their own, but then it's harder. Sometimes it's easier. Like it depends. It just
You
depends on your
don't
situation.
know. You don't know where you're going to hit and how you're going to hit and if you will ever hit. And I think, well, it's really a struggle. I think people, I don't know.
Yeah,
Again,
I know. It's okay.
yeah.
So moving forward, is there anybody that you would love to collaborate with? Any artist or someone that over the years you've always wanted to collaborate with?
Yeah. I had yeah, I do. I do, but they're people that everyone wants to collaborate with, so I won't sound very special if I say. Um, I'd really I'd love to be on stage with Brandy Carlisle. I love her vibe so much. Yes, I love her vibe so much. And then and her music, and I feel like that would be so energetically amazing, like wow. And then as far as songwriting, I think it would be really amazing. I don't usually write with people, to write with Taylor Swift.
Wow, that'd be cool.
Well, because I think that we're such different kinds of storytellers, but I think it would be really, really interesting. Um, that would be really interesting.
Have
And
you,
there's
do you
lots of
know her?
hmm?
Do you know her? Like, could you reach
No,
out to her? Okay.
no. I only thought of it actually when you asked me. Actually, before you asked the question, the word Taylor Swift came into my mind, so I figured that must be what the answer to the question is.
That's awesome. Well, we are, going into the fall season and Thanksgiving is coming up. Do you have a fun dish you like to prepare for Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah. Well, for Thanksgiving, I don't have an exciting dish, but I actually have turned into a really good cook since I've had children. And I want to someday have a show because I can cook really healthy, amazing meals in 30 minutes. And
What?
yeah, with very few pots. And so I wanted to do a show that showed that. And in fact, you want to know something? The Love Yourself single, this is actually true, and I'm only telling you, and I haven't told anybody else this. And okay, so the Love Yourself single video is an actual video where I was rehearsing for the first time with this guy, Seth Clear. It was our very first rehearsal. I was teaching him Love Yourself, and I had to make dinner for my kids who were coming home. I was cooking a chicken with rice, and the video was made just me doing the cooking, and you'll see it. It's going to be on the internet, but it's actually real, and that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I'm very relaxed. Yeah.
That's awesome. And especially being in the kitchen, like not everybody can do that. So the fact that you could do 30-minute meals with a few pots, that's great.
That's my goal, is so minimal cleanup and really healthy, delicious, but fast. Yeah, it's gotta be.
It's like, is there any celebrity you'd love to trade closets with?
Yes. Harry Styles.
Really? That's so cool.
And actually, I'd love to collaborate with him too.
That would be a fun collab. Oh my God, imagine if you collabed with him and then you had like writings with Taylor Swift. It would just be so amazing.
It's insane, but his wardrobe is out of its mind, and that would be so, he wouldn't want my closet though for anything.
Okay, well, whatever. Maybe he'll just share with you and then it'll be good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hey, we could share really well. We're probably the same size.
Yeah, you never know. It could be a good fit. I don't know. He has a great sense of style though, that's for sure. I love it. Well, you're going to be in Philadelphia coming up in November, on November 5th at the City Winery. Can you just talk to us about Philadelphia? I know we talked previously about being in Atlantic City, so we'll talk about that too. But talk about Philadelphia. What do you love most about being in Philly?
Oh, well, I love Philadelphia, and I always love getting there for shows. And I actually wanted to buy an apartment on Rittenhouse Square. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Rittenhouse
Square. I love that area. I love the whole thing. I love the oldness, and I love the funkiness and the soul. Everything about Philadelphia really speaks to me, and I could live there.
That's cool. Do you have a favorite restaurant or food that you like to get when you're in Philly?
No, I'm not really into the cheesesteaks.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I used to be, but maybe I could be convinced again.
Okay, maybe next time when you're in town, someone will take you around to all the different places, or you can call me up. We'll go for a ride and we'll go to all the different spots.
If we could go and eat after the show, that would be wonderful. Because my favorite, honestly, one of my favorite things is, and I have no guilt about it, is I love to eat. In fact, people try to make me feel guilty because I actually eat quite a bit, and they're like, how do you eat so much? And I'm like, and you're gonna, gain. I'm like, I don't. I love it so much. It doesn't make me fat.
Well, we're looking forward to having you in Philadelphia on November 5th at the City Winery. Is there any, parting words that you'd love to tell your fans about your new album, or any type of advice?
Well, no, I don't have any advice except to love themselves. And the parting word is please come out, because they know that it's always a great time. But I think things are on a new level, and they will really, really enjoy the shows. And the musicians I'm working with are just phenomenal. We've really taken things up a notch, and I think they'll be very pleased.